Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has spared our lives to this moment. We pray accept our ibadat. Ameen. We welcome us back to the another edition of the free Nahw and Sarfu class. And this is Nahw Class 115. And we'll be also be reading from our reference book, Nahw al-Wazi al-Juzu Study. So the topic of this class is إسناد المضاعف والأجوف إلى ضمائر الرفع البارزة. So it is what connection of muda'af and ajwaf to the pronouns that are in raf'un state. So in the last class, in the previous class, we did connection of Sahih, Salim, Salim, Mahmuz, and Misal to ضمائر الرفع البارزة. Now we are going to move to the next ones, which are ajwaf and muda'af. So in the previous class, we mentioned that the shape of the verbs will not undergo any kind of change, but here we are going to be having some specific changes to the verbs for muda'af and for ajwaf separately. So on this part of the board, we have the ضمائر الرفع المتحركة. We have the ضمائر الرفع المتحركة on this part of the board. No, you can see no niswa ta'al mutaharrika and na adalla to al fine. So that's what we have on this part of the board for both of the verbs, that is muda'af and ajwaf. And for the other part, we have the sakina part, the aliful isnain, wawul jama, and ya'ul mukhataba. So that is what we have on the board. So I'll be starting from the right hand side. So we have shaqqa attaching to nono niswa, ta'ul mutaharrika, and adala to al-fa'il. Those ضمائر رفع المتحركة. So the change that will occur, this is shaqqa and it's taking shadda, and we know that any letter that takes shadda denotes two letters together. So this process of joining the two letters of shadda together is called idgham. So there is idgham of the qaf here. So when we attach ضمائر الرفع المتحركة to it, you know that when we attach ضمائر الرفع المتحركة to a verb, the last letter of the verb has to take sukun. But this is shadda already. How do we achieve that? So we have to separate those two letters that are joined together so that we give the last one sukun like it's supposed to take. So from shaqqa, then we come here, attaching nono niswa, we do faku of the letter that's taking shadda. We separate it, we do faku. So we have what? Shaqaqna. Because the last letter is meant to take sukun, that is why we are separating the two letters, giving the first one fatha and the other one what? Sukun. So it becomes what? Shaqaqna. Then we have shaqaqtu, shaqaqti, shaqaqtum, shaqaqtuma, shaqaqtunna, like that, and also shaqaqna. So that change is that what? Our shadda is going to be separated. Our shadda is going to be separated so that we can see how the last letter takes sukun clearly. So that is for Madi of shaqqa. Then for the mudari of shaqqa is what? Yashukku. The mudari is yashukku. In mudari is only known on this one we can add. We cannot add ta'ul mutaharrika and adalla to al-fa'il. They are specifically for what? For Madi. But known on this one can be added to mudari. So opening it like we did earlier, we have yashukku. So we separate it. The doma moves to the what? To the first letter, and the second letter takes what? Sukun. So we have what? Yashkukna. Yashkukna. So the aroka, the shadda is taking, will be the aroka, the first letter that we have separated, we will take. Then the second one we take sukun. So that is for mudari. For amru is still the same process. We have shaqqa, yashukku, amru. We know the drill for amru in what we've done before. So we have shukka plus what? Nono niswa. So when we do our what? When we do what's it called? When we do the faku, naturally this will take sukun. The doma will move to the hamzatul wasli. Because we have separated these letters. The last letter here is supposed to take sukun. Then the doma here will come here. The doma on the shadda, the doma will come to the qaf. Then the shin will take sukun. Because we've separated it, we cannot have doma on this shin and also on the qaf. So instead, we bring in hamzatul wasl to support the sukun. Then we have what the sukuna. So that is for the amru. Or you can just take a shortcut from the mudari so as not to stress yourself. Just come from this mudari that we formed already. Yashkukna. Just remove the harful mudara, then you add hamzatul wasl. So you have the amru that way. So that is an easier way to do that. So that is for what? For mudara. Now for ajwaf. The change that will come to ajwaf is different from that of mudari. You know, ajwaf is the one that has a thick letter in the middle. So, and our domair rafun al mutaharrika will have to give the last letter sukun. So, in the process of doing that, you have zada. You are supposed to add to nun. For ajwaf is different from all other verbs. The shape of the verb, while connected to domair rafun mutaharrika, will be determined by the mudari. So you know we have zada. We have zada gives us what? Yazidu. We want to add domair rafun mutaharrika. Let's say nunun niswa. We want to add this to it. The rule is that the last letter is meant to take sukun. So it's supposed to be what? Yazid plus nun. Now we have two sukuns together. We cannot have two sukuns together. That's not possible. So we remove the weakest one, which is this one. That is how we have what? Zidna. For the mudari, we have zidna. So this shape is the shape that we are going to use for our fi'l madi also. It is unlike shakor that we use it directly. No, we cannot use zada directly to form the fi'l madi for domair rafun al mutaharrika. We have to go to the mudari and see the shape we have. So we extract the shape. That is, we remove the harful mudara and then we extract the rest. That will give us our madi for those verbs. So we have what? Zidna. So we will be extracting it, removing the what? Harful mudara. We are left with what? Zid plus na, zid two, zid six, zid tum, zidna, like that. So that is the difference. For what? For ajwaf, the shape of the madi, when we are connecting to domair rafun mutaharrika, the shape for the madi is gotten from where? It's gotten from the mudari after removing the harmful mudara. So look at this is the mudari. We have yazidu plus nun. We have what? Yazidna. After following the process of removing the second sukun, yazidna. So this zidna, zidtum is what we want to use in what? In madi. So what's the amru for yazidu? You know the amru is zid. So just add your nun, you have zidna. Also it's going to be, so we have zidna. That means we have a similar verb for what? For amru and madi for niswa. So you have the way you are going to differentiate that is in the context of what you are reading. So that is it. So the major difference is that we are removing the weak letter, that is the weak letter in the verb. Why? Because we want to give the last letter of the verb sukun, so that we'll be able to attach our what? Our domair mutaharrika. Like the rule that we mentioned in previous classes, that when you are adding domair mutaharrika to a verb, the last letter of the verb has to take sukun. So it's the sukun that forces us to what? To remove the weak letter. So this is for fa'ala yaf'ilu. For fa'ala yaf'alu, the example we have was qala, yaqulu. You know it is yaqulu. So that means we come from yaqulu shape to get our madi shape. So we have yaqulu plus nun. Yaqulu plus nun niswa becomes what? Yaqulna. So this is also what we use for madi. We just remove the harful mudara. We have what? Kulna. Kultu. kulna. So, but for Mudori, it is only Nun Niswa. You know that it's only Nun Niswa we can add to Mudori because it's the female plural pronoun that we have. So we can, when we add it to Yakulu, we get Yakulna. Also, we bring Amru from Yakulu, we get Kul. Add Nun Niswa to it, we get Kulna. So you can say Kulna is also repeating just like Zada is it. So what is the difference between Zada and Kola? Is the Mudorium. Zada is the Yazidu, Kola is the Yakulu. So it affects the Madi after attaching it to Domoir Rofen Al Mutaharrika. So we have Zit for Zada, we have Kul for Kola. So Zidna, Zitu, Zitum, Zituna, Zituma, Zidna, Kola, Yakul, Kul, Kultu, Kulna. So that is how that one is formed. So for Fa'ala Yaf'alu, an example is Nama. You know the Mudori for Nama is what? Yanamu. Then we do the same ruling. Yanamu, adding the Nun Niswa, we have to give the last letter Sukun. If the name takes Sukun, the weak letter has to leave. So we have something like this. Yanamu. We have the Yanamu. Yanamu plus what? Plus Nun Niswa. And we know we have to give this last letter Sukun. When we give this Sukun, two Sukuns are missing, so we have to remove one. So removing the alif mod we have here becomes the anamna. So, you know, like I said earlier, we are extracting it for the modi. So we remove the alfu mudora, we take it to the modi. So we have namna, namtu, namta, namna, same thing from amru. So that is how we form for Domoir al Mutaharrika, not all of them. For those Domair that are what? Al Mutaharrika, that has Aroka. So that is how we form it. For what? For Ajwa. So for Muda'af, we separate the Shadda. For Ajwa, we sacrifice the what? The weak letter in the verb. So that is for Al Mutaharrika, those vowels that are the pronouns that are vowelized. Now for those ones that are sukun, the sakina like aliful isnain, wawul jamaa, and yawul mukhataba, we have what? Shakka. From the shakka we use, we are attaching our pronouns directly to these ones because the ruling for attaching Domoir sakina is that the last letter of the verb has to be mutaharrika. And if you check shakka, the last letter is taking fatha. You can see it is fatha already. So we just add the vowels and give it the corresponding haraka. So for aliful isnain, the corresponding haraka is fatha. So we have shakka. For wawul jama, the corresponding haraka is what? Dumma. That is why we have shakku. So that is that for madi. For the mudari, we have tashukku, adding aliful isnain, wawul jama, and yawul mukhataba to it. We have what? Tashuqqani, tashuqquna, tashuqqina. What are we following? We are following the vowels. What are we following? We are following the vowels. They must correspond to the pronoun that we have. So fatha goes with alif, doma goes with waw, kasra goes with ya. So that is how those ones are formed. There is no major change here. Also for the amru, we know the amru of shakka is what? Shukka. So we add alif wa and ya. That is alif is newal jama ya mukhataba. Shukka, shukku, and shukki. No change. We are adding the pronouns directly. We are adding the pronouns directly to the what? To the verb, and the last letter takes the corresponding vowel to the pronouns. So that is for the muda'af. For what? For the ajwaf of Domoir and sakina, those ones are sukun, aliful isnain, wawul jama, ya'ul mukhataba, like I mentioned earlier. So the same thing happens. We have zada, zadu. We add the pronouns directly. Why? because we need the last letter of the verb to be mutaharrika, which is here, it is already. So the only thing we are changing is the haraka, so as to correspond to the what, to the pronoun we are having. Fatha goes with alif, doma goes with waw. Then mudori, it is in mudori we can have ya of mukhotoba, that is ya of second person female. So we have tazidu adding aliful isnain wal jama ya of mukhotoba. We have tazidani, taziduna, and tazidina for the mudori. Then from mudori, we move from mudori directly to the amr. So we don't need to stress ourselves. We just remove harfu mudora, and we observe all of the rules of amr from mudori. So that means this nun will leave, this nun will leave. So we have zidu, zida, zidu, zida, and what? Zidi. That is very clear. Then for kola, yakulu, this is zada yazidu. So the only difference is that we are having waw and dhamma in the mudori instead of kasra. So we have kola, yakulu, it's going to be kola, kolu, then takulu, takula, takulani, takuluna, takulina. What we are adding is aliful isnain, wawul jama, and yawul mukhotoba. So the only difference is that the vowels have to correspond with the pronouns we are adding. So from mudori we can move directly to amru by what? Removing harful mudara and what? And observing the necessary rules to form amru. That is, this nun will leave, this nun will leave. So we have kula, kulu, and kuli. Same thing for nama. Nama, tanamu, tanamani, tanamuna. Nama, namu, and also tanamina. So that is how we attach Domain Rofin al-Bariza to Mudaf and what? And Ajwab. So let's just go over the change again. For Mudaf, the shadda will be separated because that is for Mutaharrika, for the vowels that the pronouns that take vowel, that are vowelized. The shadda has to be separated so that we have the second letter take sukun. While for Ajwab, the stick letter has to be removed to get the formation. But for the sakina pronouns, we are adding directly our pronouns to it. So there's no change. So let us read from our reference book. So it says, إذا أسند الفعل المضاعف إلى ضمير رفع متحرك فك إدغامه. If we attach fi'l mudha'af, that is mudha'af, to our pronouns that are supposed to be in raf'un state, the idgham, that is the letter taking shadda, will be separated, like you have illustrated on the board. And the second one is sakana akhirul fi'l al-ajwab kuzifa wasatuhu. It says if we give the last letter of fi'l of ajwab sukun, then we have to erase the stick letter in the middle, like we've illustrated earlier. So going to the example, we have shaqaqtu tufaha. Shaqaqtu tufaha. I split the apple. Tushuqina. Tashuqina. They are female for female. They are splitting. Shuqi. Split for female. So here they are just showing us how those verbs will change with respect to each of the vowels that are attached to them and in their different states. So the second one, shaqaqna at-tufaha, we split the apple. So this is also showing us the isnain, the aliful isnain conjunction, and tashuqqani, shuqqa. Then the other one we have al-banatu shaqaqna tufaha. The girls split the apples. The girl split the apples. So tashuqquna shuqqu. So just like we've illustrated here, tashuqquna shuqqu for amru, shuqqu. So it is the same examples that are being illustrated here. For ajwaf now, from kola we have Qultul haqqa. I spoke the truth. I said the truth. Qultul haqqa. So just like we illustrated for qala here. Qala yaqulu, qulna, qultu, qulta, qultum. So it's the same thing. Then qulna al-haqqa. We spoke the truth. Taqulani. Kula, that is you adding what? Aliful isnain here. Taqulani, kula, just like we have here. So al-waladu qala al-haqqa. Taqulna, kulna. Al-waladu qala al-haqqa. The boy spoke the truth. So taqulna is for mutaharrika, kulna. Also for amru. Then al-waladu, al-awladu qalu al-haqqa. The boys spoke the truth. So the examples here are showing the mudha'af that are being separated and the ones that are not separated. The ones that are separated are for what? Ad-damairul mutaharrika. The ones that are not separated that remains the same are for damairul sakin. What do I mean by separated? That is that the shadda is open. So you have to take note that it is only those pronouns that take haraka that will make your shadda open here, and they are also the ones that will remove the weak letter in your adverb. But those ones that are not vowelized, like alifun isnay, wawul jama, yaun khotoba, will not affect the shape of the verb. You just add the pronouns to the verb and you follow the rules. So this is how we attach mudha'af and adverb to our pronouns in Rafun state, the more Rafun al-Bariza. So the link to previous class, the sorrowful class that this has been taken before, will be sent to the comment sections and also the notes for the class. So with this, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.